What's up guys, I'm Riley and I'm a pro Valorant player for Complexity. Today I'm going to be bringing you a KO guide for Ascent, just some quick things like pop flashes and knives and some set plays that you could do on your CT and T sides. If you enjoyed the video, then feel free to let me know, and if you have any recommendations on whatever else you want to see, then feel free to leave a comment down below too. Enjoy! The first knife that we're going to be throwing is one that lands top B main. I usually throw this about 2 to 3 times a half. It is breakable from spawn, from stairs, or from market. All you have to do is find this C cloud in the sky. There's a little arm that comes down from it, and you aim right at the bottom of the arm, toss it. And it's right about it. This one's really good because it lands late. Anybody who's trying to walk into B main, you'll know, or anybody that's still holding the front of B main. It's a lot like this one that you just throw as soon as the spawn wall drops. This one you could throw pretty quick and you get a lot of the same information. Usually if they start breaking this one, I'll resort back to the front B main one, but I like this one because of the timing. Some A ones that I usually throw at the start of the round or during an execute. This one that lands at the top of this archway. This one's really hard to shoot, and it gets you a lot of info on who's playing towards front B main. It gets a really wide area. One for an A exec is aiming at the top of this spike, the most spikiest spike out of all these, and going right up to the top of this cloud. Right here. Might have been a little too far to the right, but you should get the idea. Perfect. So throwing this one and comboing it at the right time with some flashes is very, very strong. So it should buy you a little bit of time to walk up here, throw a flash or two, and boom. Your util's popping at pretty much the exact same time. You can bank a couple, or I guess toss a couple flashes in the sky right up here, and that helps a lot if your team is already gearing up and you have 3 or 4 people in the front of A main waiting for you to throw this knife, and they're starting to throw their util too. Throw something like this and wait for my knife. As soon as it's about to hit, call that you're flashing over. Maybe not something like that, but you get the gist. Is really helpful on an execute. Something that I throw on a split that lands right up here, just lined up from here. So you come up to this corner on cat, you're gonna look for this white cloud again, and you're gonna go up to about right here, halfway between this cloud and this roof right here. And all you gotta do is toss it. It should land right there. This one's super useful, super hard to shoot, especially in the moment. It hit a little high, but once you start getting it down, you'll find that it'll land right on the rooftop, and it's a real nuisance to try to get. Just like that. So a play that I like to do off of this knife here for the A split is comboing it with a nade and a flash outside a door. I would throw this, play my timing a little bit, make sure my team's ready to go, and usually this close cat is going to be smoked. I nade here, take my flash out, and I pop it right to the right of the lamp, and it should pop right outside of the door. It's not going to get any of my team running up, and it should blind people dice, people up top heaven. If someone's playing kind of far out on gen, it'll get them here. This play is incredibly useful. There's a lot of value out of it. It keeps you in the loop with you know, pushing your team forward and making sure that they're activated in a sense. Let's go over a couple CT side knives. CT side knives are a little different than T side. I feel that they're used more mid-round to deny an execute or to get some information on if somebody's pushing you close. Like for example, if you're playing in market and you just toss a quick knife right here, and you know, you get the info that either someone's right here or, you know, just trying to flood you bottom mid or just lurking there in general. That's kind of how I use my CT side knives, but at least for the start of the round, throwing something like this for B main, it's kind of like a Sova dart, playing really anywhere in this courtyard right here, making sure you can see this arch in back B main and kind of lining it up with the top of the pole. Something like that is like this over dart, a little hard to shoot, really annoying to deal with. Generally just a good knife to throw at the start of the round if you want to get that quick B main information and your Sova's playing towards A. If you're playing towards A, this knife is very useful, especially if you want to get a little aggressive right after it. So I'll show you the knife. And throwing this a little late never hurt anybody. It gets you a lot more information because people will start to feel a little comfortable as soon as you don't really show towards A main. If you throw this one way right here, a lot of people like to come up and just play close and either get ready to flash through, dart through, or do whatever. Throwing this knife is really, really good if you have this one way out. And if you and your partner play your timings correctly and you want to go for deeper A main control, throwing this knife, waiting for the smoke to drop, in combination with a flash like this, is really, really strong. You don't have to throw the flash that high. That's just one of them. You can either get it over this half wall or this half wall right here, and both will do a very, very good job. You just want to make sure that your teammate, you know, is aware of the timings, aware that you're going to be flashing, and, you know, as soon as the smoke drops, they're ready to get in there and frag off of your flash. On top of the A main control that you get at the start of the round with your knife and flash combos, if you were to do them, another play you can do if the enemy team is taking very aggressive A main control and you want to do something about it, is once you get a couple of your teammates towards the front of A main and you're ready to contest it back at them, throwing a close knife in this corner to make sure that you get all of A main is very useful, and tossing a flash right over the arches pretty much blinds anyone back here in this general vicinity. If you angle it correctly, if you're playing more towards Tetris and you toss it over just like this, it'll get someone that's playing on top of the half wall here. But this play is extremely good at retaking A main control, especially if you have teammates here ready to capitalize off of your utility. Another flash that I didn't go over when we were towards B, this is a very supportive flash. Your teammate's going to be ready to peek into B main as soon as you throw this. All you're going to want to do is come into this corner right here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to crouch and you're going to make sure that you're lining yourself up with both of these signs right here and aiming at the darkest point where they connect. And it'll hit right into B main. This flash works absolute wonders for getting late B main aggression if teams are just slowly walking up and you know that they're in there and you feel like you have to do something about it. Calling for your teammate to come right here, saying, yo, I got you with the flash. Tossing that real quick. Does an amazing job. Another really quick pop flash that I love throwing if I'm playing in towards market is this one. Say you have a Killjoy setup right here, or a Killjoy alarm bot, and it's taking your contact for close mid. Gearing up for a flash like this is really, really helpful. It pops kind of deep, so anyone playing farther into mid gets blind. Anyone who's playing really these close angles as they're walking up gets blind, and this is most useful when you have another teammate right here also playing off the contact of that alarm bot. So if you make a set play out of this with your teammate, you're saying, yo, as soon as this takes contact, I'm going to throw a flash. As soon as the flash pops, we're double swinging this and we're ready to go. Something like that is extremely good for a mid-round play, a setup to have at the start of the round, and, you know, good against teams that really like taking that mid control against you. Another really nice flash that I throw towards the back of B main in combination with the knife that I showed you earlier is one that as soon as I find the information here, I start to gear up for. All you have to do is aim at the claws of this little lobster guy right here and toss it, make sure your gun is out. And the only people that are really prepared for a flash like this is this hut guy, or someone playing a little farther back who has some time to turn away. You just want to make sure that as soon as you throw it, you have your gun out, and a majority of the time, in order to dodge the flash, this guy will unpeek, but having your gun out, pre-aiming this in preparation for that is huge. And usually anyone who's playing here is going to be full blind. Ideally, you'll have a teammate, a majority of the time you will, but you'll probably know, or you'll have a good idea of who's playing outside B if they're not towards B link. And yeah, just making sure that you combo your util is really the biggest thing with KO, and maximizing the value out of everything that you throw. A couple flashes that I like to throw as well for B execs is something like this. This doesn't blind any of your teammates coming out lane. Usually you're coming out lane before a stair guy can come down from your team as well, and pretty much forces everyone on site to either unpeek or look away or just stare right at the flash, which should net you a kill or two. And obviously you don't have to be looking at this flash whatsoever. Throwing something like this on the go is insanely useful. Kind of like this knife that I also throw if we know that we've pinned someone towards backside, just jumping and tossing it right up here. It's really solid against ciphers, killjoys, people who have a lot of setups towards the back of B site, and you know, killjoys have a lot of mollies towards lane, ciphers have their trips, and people play spam from spawn, and it's really annoying getting out to site. So throwing something like this is very helpful if you still have your knife, and if you're still looking to get into sight from lane. Just like these flashes on B, there's kind of the same theory of flashes on A. If I'm the first rotator towards A, usually I'll be throwing a knife somewhat like this. This knife doesn't have to be perfect. Usually you're gonna have your whole team coming out with a metric load of util, and it's gonna be hard for the other team to, one, look at the knife, realize the knife is there, and do something about it without having to worry about a million different things going on, especially coming in from door, coming in from heaven. So if you really time this right, this knife gets a lot of value. It doesn't really get a lot of value if you just, you know, up and throw it out of nowhere. But all you're gonna do is just aim at this corner of this chimney, this top layer of the cloud, or go up to the top layer of the cloud and aim a little bit higher than it. It doesn't have to be perfect whatsoever, and just toss it. And it should pretty much get anyone that's a danger to you when you're coming out heaven, but you know, it doesn't take their gun away, and so you know, you're gonna have to be throwing flashes and working in conjunction with your teammates.
Flash. Flash.
Anyone towards close gen basically forces people to look away, and either they have to look at the knife, they have to look at the flash, they have to look at other people coming out door, they have to look at you coming out heaven. Just overloading the enemy with information here is really key. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you know, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you want to see any more of this content like this, or you know, my take on things like fundamentals, team play, or stuff in that subject. Feel free to let me know, and hopefully I can push some more of that type of content out. But thank you so much, and get to win an elo.